Hey everybody in the Moving Beyond Fear Facebook community. Chelsea here, coming to you live. Just feeling really inspired today, and I have some really empowering things to say to you today to really support you, motivate you in this journey. So, if you're new to this space, you might be noticing something a little bit different about how we run it. First of all, the group is called Moving Beyond Fear. Our business is called Healing Embodied because we truly believe in the power of using your body and movement in your healing, and how it's not just powerful, it's actually necessary. Many people who are stuck in the cycle of ROCD are still trying to figure it out. You're trying to rationalize your thoughts or replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. You're trying to do everything up here. You feel me? You've been there? You're Googling for hours. And sometimes we can even use therapy as reassurance. And I can say that with love because I used to do that too. If I could just have my therapist say the right thing, if I could just get my therapist's approval, if I could just talk this out, if I could just talk to my friends enough and get their approval, if I could just find the right article on Google that would just fix it, if I could just ask this question and have Chelsea answer this question, then it'll be fixed, it'll be gone, it'll be solved, I won't be suffering anymore. You see the eyebrow? You see the eyebrow? The eyebrow's here because I'm giving you the look of tough love. I'm gonna save you a lot of time and energy. That ain't gonna work. Trying to figure it out. Trying to tell yourself to speak your way into change. Trying to get your answers your way into change is not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. I tried. I speak from experience, and I see so many people trying to do the same thing. And it's all love, no judgment there, because we believe, our mind convinces us that that's the only way to get out of this suffering. That if I could just figure it out, if I could just stop having these thoughts, if I could just have different thoughts, if I could just get the answer and have the certainty, then I'll be able to enjoy my relationship. Then I'll be able to make a commitment. Then I'll be able to move in with my partner. Then I'll be able to decide to have children with my husband or my spouse. Then, if I can figure it out up here, then it'll all be good. And if you've been in that cycle, you've probably already noticed by now that it's not working. You get a new question, you get a new thought, OCD hooks onto a new theme, and you're back to what feels like square one. And that's why we do things differently at Healing Embodied, because we know that that's not going to work. And I'm going to tell you why. You ready? You ready to hear why that's not going to work and what actually is going to work? If you hear, tell me if you're ready, because if you're not ready to hear it, there's no point in me saying it. You have to be actually ready to hear this. So put a hand on your heart. Ask yourself, am I ready for a dose of truth? Am I ready to hear what's actually going to work? Or do I want to just keep doing what I've been doing because it's safe, it's familiar? Yeah, feel into that. Are you ready to hear this? And if you're not right now, come back to this later. Here's why that's not going to work. I'm going to break it down for you. Because our subconscious runs 80 to 90% of the show. And when you're trying to figure it out, when you're trying to get certainty, when you're trying cognitive approaches, when you're trying to think your way into new ways of being, you're not hitting the subconscious. That's your conscious. You can deeply acknowledge the problem. You can acknowledge cognitively, consciously what you want. But until you actually deal with your subconscious, you're gonna keep sabotaging. You can say, I want to be able to move in with my partner. I know I love my partner. I know that this is why I'm having this feeling. But why do I keep having this same thing? Why do I keep having this same problem? Why is this fear still there? Honey, it's your subconscious. And our subconscious, and what beliefs we have buried in our subconscious is evidence in the response of our body, the response of our nervous system. That's why you consciously, I want to love my partner. I want to say I love you. I know my partner loves me, but why the hell is it that every time they hold me close and say that they want to spend their life with me, I go, what is that? That's your subconscious. And your subconscious is evidenced by your emotional body, the reactions of your body, the reactions of your nervous system, the energy in your body. Your subconscious is evidenced by your emotional body. So you could consciously know one thing, consciously want one thing. But until you're dealing with your subconscious in your emotional body, in your nervous system, you're going to stay stuck. And I'm going to break it down for you more. I'm going to give you science. If you're like, Chelsea, you're making this shit up, I'm going to give you some science. I believe we got to know the science. Okay, you ready for some brain science? Here we go. Here's your brain. And if you're wondering where this reference is, look up the work by Daniel Siegel. He is a behavioral neuroscientist, a therapist, a doctor, studies brain and body science. So, and this is what the model he shows. So, here's your brain. On this top layer of your brain, this is the prefrontal cortex. This is a part of your brain that's in charge of language, reasoning, rational thought, making sense of things, understanding things cognitively. This is the part of the brain that we're engaging with when we're talking about our anxiety, when we're using cognitive approaches. All right, we're just hanging out on this top layer of the brain. But in the center of our brain, we have our limbic system. In our limbic system, we have something called the amygdala. This is the part of our brain that processes emotion, fear, and anxiety. So when we're just hanging out on this top cognitive level, trying to figure it out rationally, cognitively, trying to find certainty, trying to find the answer, we're not getting to the center of the brain where all the fear and anxiety is happening. And that's the real problem, is there's a false alarm here. There's an overactivation in this part of the brain. And the other part of this brain, about this part of the brain, is that it's subconsciously scanning your external and internal environment. That's why when your partner makes a certain face and you suddenly feel this reaction or this anxiety and you're like, why am I feeling this way? What's wrong with me? Do I not love my partner? Because your subconscious brain, this middle part of the brain, the emotional brain, the fear center, is scanning constantly. And it determines, without your conscious awareness in an instant, if something is a threat or not. It'll say, that face was a threat, boom, fear response in the body. So this middle part of the brain has an intimate and immediate relationship and communication line with your nervous system. So this part of the brain is taking in sensory stimuli, taking in information. Oh, fear, go. It's going to send a response to your nervous system. Say, go into fight or flight, tense up your body, have nausea, feel the urge to leave, run out of the room. So these two folks are always talking. They're connected. And so while we can consciously be like, I want to be able to communicate better with my partner, in the moment, this part of the brain is what's running the show. You with me? This part of the brain is running the show, and it's sending signals and communication through your nervous system. So, and this is, again, it's subconscious. It's not happening in our conscious awareness. We can be really confused and feel really betrayed by our body. I know I love you. I know I want to be with you. Why do I feel so afraid? Why do I feel like this every time when I'm just trying to get close? There's something happening here in the subconscious, in the emotional body, in the energetic body, in the midbrain, in the nervous system. So here's the only thing that's going to work. When the subconscious is running the show, when these pre-programmed subconscious reactions are always taking over, you have to involve your nervous system. Where is your nervous system? It's all throughout your body. My body is telling me yes. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You have to involve your body in your nervous system. And when we involve our body, when we know how to utilize our body, to tune into our body, to learn skills shift and build this relationship with our body, we can shift our nervous system state. Our nervous system state is evidenced by sensations in our body, and we can actually use our body and move our body to shift these internal sensations in our internal experience. And once you do that, it's going to send a new signal to the mid part of the brain saying, oh, no, it's okay, we're safe now. We're actually safe. We don't need to keep ruminating. We don't need to attack our partner. We don't need to break up. We don't need to leave. We don't need to avoid. We don't need to seek reassurance to get that sense of safety. Because when the mind says, I need certainty, it's really the midbrain saying, I need safety. When the mind says, I need certainty, it's really your emotional brain saying, I need safety. Mic drop. What? So, we've got to work with this. We've got to work with these subconscious patterns that are often driven by past pain, by internalized beliefs that we've put on ourselves and embodied. We have these pre-programmed responses to love, intimacy, and connection. Our body has learned to stay at a distance, to overanalyze, to always be on your toes, to make sure you have control. Your body has learned that from past experiences. And again, this is happening subconsciously. We can say all we want, how we want to feel, how we want to be. We can find our certainty for today. We can find our answer for today. But the body is the one that runs the show. Do you know that 80% of communication is nonverbal? 80% of what we say, what we experience, what we perceive is actually nonverbal. So our verbal cognitive mind, it plays kind of a much smaller role in this whole thing. So if you're only hanging out with the 20% up here, trying to mantra your way into feeling differently, you're missing out on the iceberg that's under the water. This is a lot. This is a lot to take in. Because I might be flipping some things on their head for you. I might be saying things that are opposite to what you've heard. But you've got to involve your body. You've got to involve your nervous system. You've got to deal with the subconscious reactions that are running the show. And when you can do that, when your body can feel safe in relationship, and you've worked through the resistance and the reactions that happen on an emotional, energetic level, those thoughts don't feel so intrusive. They don't feel so sticky. They don't feel so scary. You can actually have an intrusive thought and no longer have a reaction, because it's the reaction that makes you keep going into the thought and keep thinking about the thought and ruminating on the thought and acting out of compulsions of the thought, whether internal compulsions or external compulsions. So when you no longer have that fear reaction, and you're no longer going into fear-based meaning making about your reactions and thoughts, you can have an intrusive thought and you can let it go and continue with your day and plan your wedding without the anxiety, the subconscious fears completely hijacking it and taking over. Yeah? Whew! That was a lot. I felt really inspired to share that, and it's information that every human being with a body needs to know. We all have a body, we all have a nervous system, and the beautiful thing is that it's adaptive. We can change our patterns. We have something called neuroplasticity. We can change the connections and the wiring in our brain. So if you think you're the exception, do you have a brain? Do you have a body? Do you have a nervous system? You're not the exception. It's possible for you. And if you there's no way you don't have a brain, body, or nervous system, or else you wouldn't be alive. So it's possible for you. You can change. But you're not going to change from up here by trying to figure out the thoughts, by getting the reassurance, by talking about them, through trying to challenge these negative thoughts with different thoughts. You ever tried to argue with anxiety? It's gonna find loopholes in whatever new thing you come up with. You got to work with the subconscious body, the emotional body, the nervous system, the midbrain that really runs the show. Because every thought, emotion, behavior, action is driven by a nervous system state. And it's actually quite simple when you understand that, because you go into fight, flight, or freeze. And then you can boil it down so much more easily when you understand that, instead of going through all these complicated loopholes of thoughts. Am I in fight, flight, or freeze right now? Is my body feeling safe or unsafe right now? Am I having a fear reaction right now? Am I shutting down? Am I having the urge to leave? Am I having the urge to nitpick and attack my partner? What's my body saying? And then you'll learn what to do when your body goes into that reaction. Because you're working with the body, you're working with the nervous system. So if you're ready to do that work and do the work that's actually gonna work, then you must apply to work with us. We're the only people that I know in the ROCD community that are doing the work that we're doing. If everything that I'm saying is landing with you and resonating with you, if you've been stuck, even though you've tried cognitive approaches, then we're your people. We're your people. So if you want to work with us, if you're ready, energetically, emotionally, financially ready to commit to really make these deep, lasting changes, then you can schedule a free relationship anxiety assessment with me or Sarah. And we'll give you the lowdown. We'll talk about and apply this to you in your situation and understand what nervous system response, what subconscious response is hijacking your ability to love and connect, and what it's actually going to take to get you from where you are to where you want to be in your relationship. Okay? So I'm going to post the link to schedule that relationship anxiety assessment below. Take that leap. We're here. We're ready to support you. Are you ready to be supported? Are you ready to make this change? We're ready. We're here for you. Okay? So schedule that relationship anxiety assessment, and we can't wait to support you and see things finally click in for you and give you the tools that are going to give you your power back and your life back. All right, everybody, sending you love. And until next time, I can't wait to see you embrace love wholeheartedly.